All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Fruits Basket, Season 1, Episode 5. All right, we met Kagura last episode.
Yep.
She went full psycho, but hey, Tohru's here, and Tohru has a really good way of being patient with people, but also seeing the best in them, so being able to, well, understand that Kagura is not just, a bit obsessive and crazy. There's more to her than this. There's a lot more to her than that.
Yep.
And within, Kyo's situation in a lot of ways, he could really use someone like Kagura, someone that will constantly see the best in him.
Yeah.
And yet she needs to maybe acknowledge his personal boundaries.
Right.
A lot more.
Because to Kagura-san, love is war.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But this feels like the episode where we met a specific character of the Soma family, and thus, added another notch into the Zodiac.
That's true. Yep.
Which means in the next episode, we'll probably do the exact same thing, or maybe even have two.
Possibly.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Alright everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Oh, cool.
Wow.
Cool.
Okay,
Really emotionally good episode.
Yep.
Really simple episode.
Right, to the point.
Yeah, the point of it being that Tohru has desires that she's been pushing off in the name of making sure everyone else is having a good time, but she needs to be selfish every once in a while and just be like, no, I want this. I want you.
Right.
I want to be in this house. I want this to be my home.
Yep.
That's okay. And this is a very scary thing for a lot of people who have been in situations where they feel at the behest of other people that they need to adjust their life and who they are in order to make sure that everything is safe or everything is okay. And oh my God, I am now like gaining clarity about why one of my foster brothers, this was his favorite anime.
Oh.
And it's like, it's wrecking me all over again just thinking about it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Oh, I know.
Well,
Yeah. But
okay.
we love what they're doing with Honda or Tohru as a main character here because her characterization has been rather simple. She has a very good, strong kind of way that she's introduced to shake up the environment. But having really quickly an episode that's kind of a nothing episode in terms of plot because we reset back to zero. The point that we went through here was that she learned she can ask for things.
Yes.
She can be selfish or complain or what have you a little bit.
This felt very much like the episode that's just, okay, let's have the therapist come in and tell you why should's a bad word, and help show why that's the case. Because kind of all of the characters, other than maybe the grandpa and Shigure, had that should in there somewhere, right?
Yes.
With Tohru, it was the most obvious, right? And the most easily addressed, right? But also with Yuki and Kyo, and with the brother, or stepbrother or something. Yeah.
Whatever.
But like, because with Yuki and Kyo, it's something where they're like, well, I mean, we should be comfortable just going back to the way things were, right? Because that's been good for us up till now.
Yeah,
right?
We shouldn't be experiencing these feelings.
Yeah.
What?
No.
Feelings?
Like the whole idea of the
No.
of the tsundere trope, with Kyo and things is this shouldn't be happening, right? And I love that bit where Kyo starts to talk about it and he's like, why I don't get it, and I don't know why I don't get it, and I should be able to get it. Why is this happening? Right? It's like, well, yeah, that's they're called feelings.
They're called feelings, man, and they're a hell of a thing.
Yep.
I really, really love the way that they transitioned into that backstory bit with Tohru's mom and having her just kind of come around, give her a back hug, and just being like, hey, thank you. But, you don't have to do this all the time. There's this aspect of when you're in a position kind of responsibility for someone. So like parent to child, basically. and the child starts basically observing the way that you do things, and thus then draws some kind of belief system, ideology, or paradigm surrounding that. And it's important that if you're the one that's responsible for them, to make sure that you're expressing what you want to express to your kid. So in this case here, her coming in very quickly and starting with love, rather than you shouldn't think that way, because that is another form of a should. Yep,
exactly. And so the thank you is the fully accepting what the person decided to do, right? Which is a way to basically give them agency. It's like, I don't think this is a good idea. You had a fever. Why aren't you in bed, right? Well, thank you. You don't need to do this.
Exactly.
It's
and I think that's the
expertly done.
Yeah, I think that's the really, really clever bit of the writing here, is that the mother doesn't make this about a thing of where she's talking about wants in any way here.
Okay.
This is something where she wanted, in some ways, to have something nice from her daughter. That she said thank you. She's like, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But you don't need to do this.
Right.
And what's really powerful in that is it's basically saying that I would have come in here and said I love you and thank you and given you the hug, even if you hadn't done this. Now the thank you might have been for something else, of you just being my daughter or something like that.
Yep.
But the love I have for you is not incumbent upon the things that you do for me.
Right.
Or the way that you show that you love and care about me.
Yeah. And it's I love that this is in here as the coming of age story that this is, kind of with because like the characters are young, right?
Yeah.
And there's that point where the parent goes from granted Tohru's mom isn't around anymore.
No.
But where the parent goes from, okay, this is what you need to do because I need to give you a good foundation. You don't know that maybe when you have a fever you should stay in bed, right? So if this had been 5 years earlier, she might have been like, no, honey, you're staying in bed, right?
Right.
But as Tohru grows up, gets older, starts to get to the point where she can, make decisions on her own of, no, I think the temperature's been going down plenty. I think I think this is fine. It's I don't think this is any big deal, right? Then it's the, okay, all right, you made that decision. And as much as I might have wanted you to, stay in bed and get better from your fever, I also want you to live a free life, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Tohru is now able to do, right? Both with those kinds of decisions, but then also leaving the house that her grandpa was in, because she doesn't need to, right? And I love how the grandpa basically let her go, but also said, I'm not pushing you out. You can totally stay here if you want to, but you don't need to, right?
Because I want to bring up something that's not at all what I think the show is implying, but it's actually, if you looked at it with a not just a pessimistic view, but kind of a really smart kind of way of thinking about this, the grandpa might have been actually pushing her out by saying that stuff. And it was just a really, really smart, kind way to do it. And that he was thinking, there's going to be problems, there's going to be a lot of things that are not going to be worth it for her.
Right. I don't want to see you have to put up with this stuff.
Exactly. So what he might be doing is he's like,
Your decision.
But actually, what I'm also doing here is based on the way I can tell that you kind of didn't want to come here. I'm kind of
giving you permission and saying, I also think this might be a good idea.
Right. But I'm also being very subtle about no, I actually am trying to push you out. And I think that this is a way, it's not mutually exclusive that he either was pushing her out or he wasn't. But there was an air of what he was saying and how he was saying it that gave her the feeling of full choice here.
Right. The freedom to truly do it.
But I think he might have been testing the environment, and once the two of them made their statements in this way, whereas the other, the sister, the other granddaughter, she seemed to be the most...
sort of passive,
just generally okay with the whole thing. She was more just like, oh, why do I have to share my room? You know,
right, yeah.
Like that was
kind of normal
playful,
teenager stuff.
Or like, not anything that was, why do I have to share my room with you? It's more like, oh, but like, you know?
it's stuff that.
Yeah. It could be interpreted either way.
Yep, exactly.
But I really like the interpretation that the grandpa was not necessarily being perfectly 100% honest, in that he was like, no, in my wisdom and experience, and even though I can only see you as Kyoko-san, which we'll talk about that in a second, I can tell that you would be happier elsewhere. So I'm going to not push you out, but I'm going to give you as much agency as possible, which in some ways, for people that are really good at being, I would say, subtle, is actually a way of kind of guiding her towards the door and making the cat, if you will, look outside and be like, are you sure you want to stay inside? And the cat's like, oh, that's right.
It's the bird that tries to teach the child to fly, right? You know, it's the if you
have wings,
you do have wings, and if you choose to stay here, that's totally fine. But come on, you want to fly, right? You don't want to stay here because one of the things that I was kind of curious about, before this episode started, is how are they going to handle the whole thing with the grandpa? Is he going to be a nice grandpa? Is he going to be a nasty grandpa? Because she was living in a tent, right? Mm-hmm. Now, it's like, okay, there's other family members, not the grandpa, that are awful. But then the question that comes up is, was the grandpa letting this stuff slide? Like how do you reconcile the fact that the grandpa is really sweet and yet all of this stuff continues to happen? And what I'm guessing probably is that he just realized, I can't make these people actually play nice. Maybe he's tried or whatever, and hence the whole thing of...
I think he's wise enough that he doesn't try to control other people's lives for the most part.
Well, sure, but then, there's the whole thing of like...
He didn't raise them.
No, right, but don't be dicks to my granddaughter in my house. You know?
That is where he stepped in. Right. But he hasn't experienced that going to people other than himself, necessarily. Like, the way he said it was, they do this stuff to me sometimes.
Right. And that I can...
And it's like I put up with it.
Yeah.
But no, I won't have them doing it to you. Or, no, not I won't have them do that to you.
It's unbecoming for you. Like,
you don't have to put up with it.
Right, exactly.
Now I really think that there's a possibility that this family here can end up being like a positive side of the story eventually. But for right now, what they were used as is like you said, like a comparison point to where the grandpa is at. Mm-hmm. So I'm really, really glad that it was brought up in so immediate a fashion. Mm-hmm. The repetition from the other angle was fun, more just to see Kyo and...
Yeah, the antics with Yuki and everybody,
But I think they could have maybe, set it up a little bit to, go, a bit more straight into it.
Now, to be fair, if you're going to have a bit of a slower episode that gives focus to something, this is the kind of thing that I would want it to be focused on, right?
Because this is character.
This is a very important episode to have in the story. So the idea that it's kind of intimate and private. We don't have any other antics, like barging in on this. Granted, we have the family, but we don't have any other like Zodiac characters getting introduced or anything like that. Like it's just this.
Yeah. This is something that usually I'd expect at like episode 10 or something. Once
right,
you've
exactly.
kind of already had a lot more characters introduced, and then you've had a lot more conflicts that the main character's been involved in. But right now, this is a really cool way to say that no, it's really these three. Like these boys and Tohru, they're the main cast. Mm-hmm. Everyone else is ultimately secondary. Yeah. So I'm really excited about the way that this pushes the three of them to become an even stronger family unit. Mm-hmm. But did you notice something? Because I'm going to go into Theoryland for a second here.
It's a boy.
Well, we'll just lightly touch on that. I love the fact that boy was so stuck in the closet that in some ways he needs to just accept who he is.
He needs to get rid of the shoulds.
And he needs to get rid of the shoulds and just be who he's meant to be. Yeah. Because, boy, when hot Yuki came in...
What, babe?
Yeah, that snowy, cold look just melted your heart. And you're like, holy shit, I'm feeling things.
Wait, he's a boy.
Yes.
Oh.
Be free, my boy. You like.
Did you ever wonder when you watched Mulan? You know how it was for the captain when he's like, "Oh, this, this dude's pretty hot." You know.
Yeah, bless Shang. But yeah, that was a thing that was used as comedy, and he was the bully character in this for a second. But I liked how quickly they threw it into he's so insecure about where he's at that he
tries to get little scraps of putting other people down.
That he vilifies the slightest hint of anything that could be considered intimacy.
Right.
So it's like, oh, buddy, that says a lot more about you than it does anyone else.
Quite frankly, like this was an excellent way to take a character that you basically, in a very much shtick like extreme way, set up to just be the asshole and you don't like. But now I actually want to see him go on an arc. Mm-hmm. Like
that's what I'm saying. They're setting up stuff, at least for the grandchildren, to go through that kind of stuff, and that's pretty sweet. But Theory Town. Did you hear the name?
of
Tohru's mom?
Yeah.
Kyoko.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's interesting, huh? You know whose name sounds really similar to that? Kyo. You know who has a true form?
Yeah, and who also has hair that's like the exact same color.
Well, yeah. I just want to throw something out there that the nature of what happens when someone potentially maybe takes on the cat zodiac, for instance. Also, image-wise, let me just show the actual image.
Yeah,
the part where she had like literal cat ears.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
the mom.
Yeah, in the little image when it was like a thing where they were thinking about like how she was like violent or like so free and expressive and stuff.
Oh, really?
There was like a little moment. I'm trying to see if I can find
it. I know it
right here.
No, that's just the hair. That's just one of those anime hair designs.
Dude, I know, but why have that hair design? You're telling me that this show did that, accidentally? No. Oh, then we had this as well, where it looks even more. It looks even more obvious there. Look.
What? No. I beg to differ. But
anyway, my point is that my theory has been for a while now
that there's some kind of connection.
That she's basically someone who's passed on her part in the Zodiac.
Okay.
From being the cat to Kyo, and whatever magical kind of relationship that has.
Yeah.
I think that Kyo being the only one that's being teased thus far as having something extra about him that's magical thus far, that's literally an open plot point. He has an alternate form, like a true form or something like that.
Yep.
It might not, I'm not saying that it's like Kyoko or something like that.
No, right.
But what it could be is something that is connected to the mom.
Sure.
And thus then Tohru can connect with her mom via Kyo.
Sure. What I was expecting, like as the hinting or as the seeding of foreshadowing elements or whatever, is the idea that there might be some kind of like distant relation between Kyo and Kyoko, which
I could see that.
And if that was the case, that would be really funny from the standpoint of the love triangle, because then it's like da 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 da. Oh yeah, well Yuki seems to be like the main boy because he was introduced first in the first episode and Kyo was introduced later, But okay, all right. Oh, I see. We're cousins or related somehow. I see. Well,
he's my brother.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I half brother,
Right, exactly.
But okay, I guess, yeah, that would be weird if we were a thing, Kyo. All right, well, Yuki, here we go.
Yeah, I think if anything, the familial relation thing doesn't have to be the case at all.
No.
My more thought is that I don't think that this story is necessarily setting up. No, I think it could be. I'm just thinking about how they continue to keep it within the Soma family.
Right, when there's, like, what, 5 core for this show or something like that?
No. I'm talking about literally how does the Zodiac stay within the Soma family? And my thought is that it's not necessarily thematically appropriate for this story to be about lineage. This is not the kind of story necessarily that seems to be about people with their bloodlines and stuff.
Right. If anything, most of the characters that have been introduced so far have been separated either willingly or from external circumstances from their lineage or the Soma family. So,
right. So I could see that being maybe the way that it has been done. But I would say, if anything, Tohru represents the idea that family goes beyond blood.
Right.
And that's where I think that Kyoko is the bridge, if you will.
Okay.
She's the bridge that maybe has the connection bloodline-wise in some ways, or it's just completely divorced from that, and she's one of the ones that maybe championed some aspect of things being not just stuck within the Soma family.
It was really sweet, I gotta say, the fact that the grandpa called her Kyoko. Like,
yeah.
Because at first I'm like, oh, is this like a
senile?
This like a senile type thing? Yeah. But then as it goes on, I'm like, well, hold on, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that it's I've had these conversations with your mother, and it's my way of trying to tell you that I see her in you so much.
Oh.
And that there was the point when she had to go out on her own and things like that, right? You know, like we knew that she had a rebellious streak and everything, and from what we got in this episode, I'm guessing the grandpa was pretty accepting of that. You know,
yeah.
You figure out what you need to do, honey. You know, and so the idea that Tohru, even if she's doing it in a very different way, that she's kind of like, the fact that the other lady, the other daughter or something like that was like, oh yeah, like mother like daughter. Hell yes, like mother, like daughter.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yuki and Kyo, both of them kind of wrestling with their feelings about this.
Yep.
Kyo a little bit more obviously, but in their own specific ways, they threw themselves towards Tohru as fast as possible. Their
differences.
Yeah. Now, in a lot of ways, there's that slight potential, not necessarily jealousy, but something of competitiveness, if you will.
Definitely.
Like, you could tell that Yuki was trying to get there first, basically.
Right, and he does the clever thing of, I'm going to take the note with me, even though he could have just been like, oh, okay, that's the address.
So he lied and said he was going for a walk.
Right, exactly.
Which is not really a lie, but, it's deception. He's not telling Kyo so that he could go there by himself.
And it's very fitting with the whole Zodiac thing of the rat being tricky so that the rat gets there before the cat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nice catch with that. Yeah.
And then, of course, Kyo ends up being told what's going on, because the dog, Shigure is
his nose is a good one.
That's
He's
right.
Like, I can smell the bullshit.
Yep.
And that last little thing that she touched is in his hands, his little gremlin hands,
Right, and then
his way.
Kyo just tears after him. Yeah.
I love it so much because the way that Shigure doesn't have a great hold, I would say, on the daily dues of his house, basically. Yeah. And yet he's also, like, not fretting about whether or not she's here.
Right. Like, as far as the Zodiac animals and stuff, one of the things that's been kind of fun about the show is me learning, the preconceptions I would have for the animals is not necessarily what they focus on in this show, right? And like with the rat being all sneaky, it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. And Kyo is very cat-like, but then Shigure, it's like, no, he's not like happy, high-energy dog, No, he's just hanging around.
I'm a good boy.
Yep, I'm just here. This is my place.
Yep.
I know what's going on. Yep. Hey, like, don't do anything too crazy, kids. Yep.
Yeah, I love Shigure.
He's great.
Fantastic. But yeah, having the boys then choose her and have this be a thing where it's not about her having, a new name given to her. She's still onigiri in that regard.
Right.
She's unique. She doesn't fit
their
into
onigiri.
Well, right. But she doesn't fit into the fruits basket by the law of being a soma, if you will.
Right.
She is family that they choose to put in the fruits basket.
Yep. Awesome.
And it's the thing of that she didn't have to come back to them and be like, so, I'm back, and, I'd very much like to be here.
Right.
And they go, absolutely. It's, no. We kind of, in our awkward boy thing, we kind of stalked back here and just kind of watched you, and, we'd really love to have you back.
Blushed.
Well, yes.
Like, I don't know if we've ever seen that before.
That was with Shigure, though, I believe, making
yes.
comments. There.
No, yeah. When he was like,
when they're all back,
they had all gotten back, and he's like, I
what? Yeah. His little ice snow self melted. Yes,
that's right. That's right.
Cute stuff. But I also loved that Kyo went and had a one-on-one with Tohru while
that was great.
Yuki went and grabbed Tohru's stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which, of course, the rat went to go and grab the stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Don't call them pack rats for nothing.
Nope.
But I also love that Kyo was then given the opportunity to have a one-on-one in a way that maybe didn't make things seem as like their boys competing for her attention or something.
Yes, because with Kyo's personality, because it's so rambunctious and everything, and tsundere and bothered by Yuki and constantly them, getting in scraps and things like that, it would be very easy for that aspect of Kyo's personality to kind of take over the scene and not let there be those more tender moments with him and Tohru, because if Kyo's around, or if Yuki's around, then Kyo is going to be acting very differently.
Yep.
So I'm a big fan of how they handled that.
Yeah, that was really smart. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.